Hello and shalom, everyone. This is Mayim Vega, and today I am interviewing Dr. Shana Gourdine. She is an empowerment advocate and an inspirational author. Her journey from overcoming domestic violence and multiple health challenges to becoming a beacon of empowerment is very inspiring. She's a poet, a motivational speaker, a podcast host, and life coach, and she raises awareness about domestic violence and chronic illness while empowering others through self love and confidence building workshops. She is the author of several poetry collections, including The Mask Behind the Mask and Unveiled Pieces of a Broken Mask, along with empowering children's books. Shana has earned multiple accolades, including the Purple Ribbon Award of Courage, the 2024 Lifetime Achievement Award, and recognition as a 10x bestseller. Her story has been featured in various media outlets like Spectrum News and Spotlight Magazine. Residing in Troy, New York, Shana enjoys spending time with her two daughters, traveling and connecting with nature. Her message of resilience and transformation continues to inspire countless individuals to embrace their journey and find empowerment through self love. Hello and shalom, Dr. Shana. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. So the reason why I invited you on is because I was looking for people who would share their story of holistic health and healing, and I know that you have a very powerful one that has fueled the your work as an author. So could you tell us more about that?
Well, it started about 7 years ago, and going through domestic violence wasn't the best time of my life, but it fueled the mission that I do have now that fuels my power. I went through it more than once, and to say I had kids and they watched me go through that, I think it was an understatement that it was the most horrible experience, but being able to show them how empowered I can then take my pain and turn it into a purpose is an excellent thing to be able to show my girls how you can take something that happened to you and not let it be the reason why you don't succeed or do anything else in your life.
Right. And I think another thing that's important is that you were able to get out of it because a lot of women don't find their way out, and they stay in it and they hope that it goes away. And then they create a cycle of abuse because their children learn to also put up with it and enter into relationships themselves that become abusive, and they learn from their mothers that you should just take it. So how did you first of all, how did the abuse develop? And then how did you finally get the courage to come out?
Well, it was more that one day it kind of, well, I won't say it probably was lit it up just, as far as disrespect, getting talked to or yelled at. And then eventually one day I was in the kitchen and my partner didn't like what I said to him. And I was pregnant. And he literally reacted by throwing me against the cabinet and he strangled me while I was pregnant with my second kid. So a lot of times I say to myself, when somebody show you who you are, you should listen. But when you're pregnant and it's like, okay, I'll take the apology. And I accepted the apology the first time. And unfortunately, it happened again in my living room while I was holding my daughter a year later. So I decided that that wasn't for me. So I stopped dating my kid's father. And then you know, a lot of times us not taking care of it the first time by going to therapy or talking about it or, even allowing anyone in that it happened, it leads you into another cycle of the same type of relationship. So
So
I
it's
end
really
up
important to talk about it.
right. It's real important to talk about it. It's real important to understand why you're accepting the situations that you're in and understanding that why are you comfortable with letting it happen,
So
you
the
know
first time it happened, I'm sorry, excuse me, when you were pregnant and he threw you into the, I think you said he threw you into the kitchen cabinet. Was that the first time?
Yeah, that was the first time ever.
That was the first time. So
Hmm.
before it was only like verbal, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. And so you forgave him once, but
But
then
the
it happened.
second, then it happened again.
That's good. I mean, I think that's nice that because it was out of character for him for a while. And so, it happened once and you're like, okay, well, maybe that was, a fluke. But when it happens again, you don't want, that old saying,
Fool
fool
me
me
once.
once, fool me twice. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you ain't gonna
that's
get
it
a
no
third
more.
time. That's
Yeah.
it. And so, but the issue at hand, though, I never dealt with why I was allowing that to happen. So I end up in another relationship with the same cycle, just a different person.
Mm.
So when
Oh,
that
sorry. Can you
situation,
can you repeat that? You said, I'm sorry.
no, you're fine.
Please repeat that. Please repeat that.
I said, being that I didn't handle it or even acknowledged what happened with it,
Mm.
I went into the same cycle, just a different relationship, just a different person.
What do you mean acknowledge it? Because you acknowledge it,
Meaning,
obviously, because you left, right?
I left, but I didn't go to therapy. I didn't talk about it with nobody. I didn't
Okay.
deal with the
You didn't deal with
situation
it, right?
within myself.
So you didn't let yourself heal really, right?
Yeah.
Before you entered into another relationship, or at least at the
Well,
same time.
in my version, I thought I did because it
Mm,
was years later,
mm.
because it happened within the relationships. It was like 5 years apart from the relationships. It's not like I
Okay, so
went
you
out of one
figured,
relationship. I
yeah, you
figured like,
figured out,
okay,
yeah.
hey, but no, and going through that second time, it's like, wait a minute, why it and it's like a kid. They keep putting their hand in the fire and they're not understanding why they keep getting burned. So I had to learn after the second rotation of being in the relationship again that I picked somebody that still is abusive. I had to realize why I was settling for certain relationships or what part I played in it
Yeah,
besides
but
being
I
a
mean,
victim.
you didn't set out to pick someone abusive. You're
No,
like, oh, that guy
no,
abuses people.
right.
I'm gonna go. You had no idea.
I didn't
So why do you say that? Why did you just say I picked someone? Because you didn't pick.
because I mean, I didn't pick no one to be abusive, but the thing about it is the relationship that I was accepting, I think is what allowed the abuse to come.
Okay.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
you allowed it to get to that point, right?
Exactly. I
You
didn't
didn't
set
set up boundaries.
boundaries.
You didn't set
Exactly.
boundaries.
And that was the downfall for me that I had to accept.
Yeah. Now, what do you think are the like warning signs?
One is definitely when they start trying to isolate you, when they're verbally calling you out your name, or when they're trying to seclude you from your family, or when they're yelling at you and screaming at you or blaming you for things that you're not doing. It's a lot of red flags or green flags as you can
So
call them.
I isolation
Hmm.
and blaming you for things that you are not doing. That sounds like a form of maybe jealousy
That
and
too.
and also projecting like you're
Hmm.
doing something, but it's not really you. Maybe it's them.
Correct.
Maybe it's their past, but they're projecting things onto you,
Correct.
right? Yeah, okay. So those are the warning signs. And if you understand those warning signs, it's better because then you don't have to wait until it gets to a certain point, right? But
Absolutely.
how can an adult isolate another adult? I don't in my
I say
mind,
like,
I don't understand how that happens.
so if like, okay, one point is somebody might take your phone. You can't talk on the phone if they took it. Or they start
Are they
being so
taking
jealous.
it? Are they taking it secretly? Like you don't know that they took it? Like they
Sometimes they might. Or it's people that might isolate you that to whereas they might not want you to talk to your family, or they always find a problem with your family for a reason for you not to be around your family. Or they might keep you secluded in areas to where it's like I've even seen it on a movie to where is they move you so far from your family to where you're isolated from your family and you're not around them. And they could be beating you in the house and breaking you down and verbally abusing you to where you're not telling nobody about it. So you're secluded in an area and you have no access to your family. Or they might be taking the phone from you. Or financially taking you, they got the control of the money and you can't go nowhere or do anything. Or they
Yeah,
use you
I
or
that's definitely a warning sign. I just can't even
mhm.
fathom like anyone in my husband.
But it
I
happens.
can't I can't fathom.
It happens more than you think.
But I don't understand why. Why would a grown adult allow someone to take away their phone or to tell them that they can't, like I first time I'd be like, that's my mother. Please don't talk
I
about her that
understand.
way.
Yeah, I
And and
understand.
I mean, unless that maybe you're talking about something that you both agree that is a problem, but to say that you cannot talk to that person, like that's not a relationship. There's a I'm Jewish, and there's a saying that God took Eve from Adam's side, not his head, so that the woman would rule over him, and not his foot, so that the man should trample on her head, but from his side, because they should be side by side. They should be as partners, as equals.
Mhm.
Not that there's not, not that, of course, the man is stronger. The man was given more authority in the Garden of Eden, etc. But still, just because we're different, that doesn't mean that we are equal. Or doesn't mean we're not equal. And so I, I
Understand.
I don't even understand this idea of, treating it's like you're treating them like a child.
Some of them do, or they become narcissistics, or they will love on you and think that, oh, that's all you need, and try to find a way of keeping you busy. Like it's a various of ways that people will break you down to where you don't feel that you need anybody else or feel that you can talk to anybody else but them. I've
Yeah.
seen like I've seen it to where they've like I've had people that came and talked to me of how they you know been broke down so bad to whereas they're getting threatened, so they're too scared to talk to anybody. And when they're talking to people, it's like, oh, it's okay, when there's a whole lot of other things going on that they're not talking about.
Hmm. Well, what would you theorize are the reasons why women would allow themselves to be in that kind of relationship,
Well, some of them seen it as a child, so they think it's normal.
right?
And some of them might have didn't get the love that they wanted, so they think that what loves look like. Or they've seen
Okay.
their mother go through the abuse, so they're like, "Oh, well, my mom sat through it, so this is normal and this is what it's supposed to be."
Right, exactly.
Or they might have got sexually assaulted when they were younger, so to them, it's just another form of abuse that I had to accept.
Hmm. Or
So
they
it
what about how do some women feel like maybe they can't get any better, so they're going to take it?
you get some that has the low self-esteem, or they don't
Hmm.
feel worthy or feel that they're enough, to where they just take any guy that they deal with and just deal with whatever they give them. Like even with the emotional abuse, you have guys that will, or even women, because it's just not just guys, it's women that do it too, to whereas they are out doing other things outside the relationship, but then after like they keep saying they're not going to do it no more, but they're still out there doing these things and these women are still accepting it. So that's still another form of abuse, just emotionally abuse.
Hmm.
So it just, it's a lot of ways it can happen. There's even people that spiritually abuse you through the church.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a
I've heard some crazy stories of, pastors abusing church members.
mhm,
Um, and it's not just the Christian church. I'm not saying that Judaism or Islam is free from any, by no means. I'm not trying to pick on Christianity or anything. It happens in every religion, even the Eastern religions, with the gurus and shamans and stuff like that. It happens
right.
in every single religion. When people get power, over others, oftentimes they abuse it, which is very sad and which is a disgrace to the name of the one true God, I believe.
Absolutely.
So, what would you say when you help people, when you help women through abuse and out of their bad situation? What do you think are the top, what's the top piece of advice that you see yourself most often giving to women that they need to hear?
Most often, I first tell them that they are enough and that they're worthy and they need to understand that they matter and their voice have power, because a lot of times they forget and lose who they are during the situation or just during life period. So I want them to understand that they are valued. And a lot of times when they start learning who they are and start loving themselves and not looking for someone to love them to be happy, when you already loving yourself and you're bringing in someone else to love you, then it's love on top of love, not depending on their love to make you happy.
Yeah. Yeah, something I really hate about the popular music around these days is that it seems like um a lot of it, it's always looking, it's like the person who's singing the song, they're either looking for the perfect person or they're
Hmm.
saying that they are the
But the
perfect
perfect
person.
person. Right.
And so they're looking for a savior in someone else, or
Hmm.
they're saying that they are the savior of someone else. And
Right.
I think that's very dangerous. I think that, we should be looking to God alone to be, the perfect savior in our life, not another human being. Everyone
Absolutely.
else is should be our equal,
Yep.
and to not romanticize that, and to understand that when you're going into a relationship, you're going into a relationship with a flawed human being, and that you have to set boundaries, just like you're talking about. Okay, so I'd love to share your book. So I'm going to pull that up right now and share the screen, pull that up right now. And we were talking earlier, and you were talking about how, oh no, yeah, on this during this interview, actually, you even said it that actually I don't remember if you said it during this interview or before when we were talking, but you were saying that you're not happy that you were abused, but that it is what has fueled you to do what you do, kind of like your calling and your purpose in life, to get the message out there and help other women, right? Help other women.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Like I really feel that because when you first going through these situations, the first question you would ask yourself, like, why me? Why am I going through this? Why am I dealing with this? But as I grew and healed, I knew that this situation was bigger than me. Yes, I went through it. Yes, it was horrible, but it was the catalyst that started this for me to be able to walk others through it. So it became my purpose and my guidance to be able to speak and show women, men, anyone that goes through this cycle that yes, it happened. And yes, we don't have to be ashamed or judged by it, but now we can show up and show out and be elegant and successful and turn it into a purpose, or just using your voice to help someone else go through the situation that they're going through.
Yeah, a lot of people are they don't like to talk about these kinds of situations that they're in
I know.
because they're ashamed,
Hmm.
or they don't want people to judge them.
Right.
But it number one, it's part of the healing process to talk about it. And maybe it's true you can't talk about it anywhere, but there are avenues like your podcast, right? That
Right.
you allow space for people to share their stories. That's what I'm trying to do as well. And when not this is healing, as we talk about it, this is healing for you. You're probably healed already, I don't know, but at least in the beginning, when you first started talking about it, it was healing. It's part of what brings healing, is when you can process your thoughts and have another human being, another soul, a divine soul, receive it and hear it and say, you know what, you have been through this trauma, but you're still a beautiful soul, and you are not worth any less than you were before it. And not only that, but when we talk about it, we help other people who are maybe stuck in that situation to see a light, in that dark tunnel that they may be in, and to slowly start making their way, even if they're, it might be just crawling in the beginning, but to slowly make their way out of that darkness, whatever it may be.
Absolutely. It's amazing to be able to give people those steps to be vulnerable.
Yes, yes. So you've written, how many books was it again?
It's 7. It'll be 8 by the end of the month.
Oh, right. So you have a new one coming out. What's the new one called?
The new one is called Turning My Pain into Purpose. I'm the visionary of that book, and I have 40 other co-authors in there expressing and sharing their, walk through their pain of various different things and how they turned it into their purpose.
Okay, you know what? I think I've heard about it on Facebook and online through different groups that I'm in. Okay, I didn't know
Definitely.
that you were I didn't know that
Uh,
you were the one behind that.
yep, I'm the visionary.
Okay, that's cool. So yeah, I'm excited for when that comes out, and so that's going to be basically stories of struggle and pain and people overcoming them. Okay, great. And
Yep.
then okay, yeah, I love this picture of you right here in the corner with your top hat. But okay, so how about, can you tell me more about these other, let's start with the mask. I know you have 3 mask books, right?
Yes.
3 mask books. What are those books about?
All right, so The Mask Behind the Mask is a book of poetry that I put together for people to love all their imperfections despite of what they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Now, that was my breaking book after going through trauma. I
Mm.
used the poetry that I wrote in the midst of my going through therapy, going through art, going for walks, and my healing journey in 2018. I took all of that. As you sit and you write this, it's like, all right, it was for me, but how can I help someone else go through this? Because as I went through the program Unity House, as I was healing and going to therapy, I still seen a lot of women and men. They still was frustrated. They still was angry. They still was holding on to a lot. And I'm like, I don't want to be like that. So it was like, what can I do to be the change? So it's like, all right, why not I take the words that impacts me to be powerful, to know that who I am, know that I am able, know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, know that there is power within your words, put it in a book. And that's where The Mask Behind the Mask came from. As I went through this process, I found out that I had health conditions. So to go through domestic violence and deal with health conditions, it's a lot. And you would think I would be in the bed, probably depressed, anxiety, like ready to life is over, but I needed something to be impactful. So I used my voice and created The Mask Behind the Mask.
May I ask what the health issues were that you were going through?
Absolutely. At that time, I was dealing with ankylosing spondylitis, which is arthritis in my spine that goes to the rest of my joints, like rheumatoid arthritis. I also was dealing with polycystic kidney disease, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and osteoarthritis at the time. Along the process, I have fibromyalgia, and I also have deep vein thrombosis, which is blood clots in my leg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and stress, which comes from abuse, sometimes it causes these issues, but
Correct.
for sure, it definitely aggravates the issues.
Correct.
So it's not only for your mental, emotional, spiritual health, it's also for your physical health that you
Correct.
make sure that you get help.
Yes, absolutely. So then if we go into the other book, what is called Unveil the Broken Piece of the Mask, it's like, all right, I told you you had a mask on. So now it's time for me to put my sociology hat on because I have a BA in sociology. It's like, why not let's take and go through the process of it's poetry, but it's time for me to help you embrace yourself. Take down those barriers of trust issues, insecurities, the baggage we carry to the rest of relationships, learning who we are and embracing the royal queen or king that you are and loving the skin that you're in. Because that be a lot of problem of people not knowing that they're enough, not knowing that the ability of who they are, or not knowing the steps they can take to be the better version of themselves. And so then that's when we get into the evolution of the mask. And it's like, hi, I'm here. I've showed up and I'm coming from behind the mask and I'm authentically me and who I am. I am who I am and I am me and I am she.
Mhm. So did each book kind of reflect a certain part of your journey in
Yes.
life? How
It
about
did.
how about this one right here, the mask behind the mask too?
That's the same book. I just changed the cover.
Oh, that's the same as this.
Mhm.
Okay. I like your covers.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're different, but they carry that mask theme and yeah, they're pretty cool. Okay, how about the children's books? Tell me about those. Got
Absolutely. So, going down the journey after coming out of COVID, me and my
okay.
sisters got together and we did the Power in Your Voice. No, that was the Power of Me. I'm talking about my podcast. Okay, so the Power of Me. The Power of Me, me and my daughters, we got together because it was able to show
Oh,
kids
this one.
that,
Okay.
yep, it was able to show kids that, they have the power within them to be whoever they may be. They want to be the president of the United States, a doctor, a lawyer, whatever they may want to be, the powers within them, knowing that regardless of where they come from, what they've been through, that is within them to do the work and show up and just be whatever they want to be of the best version of who they are. Then we did Come and Learn Your A's to Z with Me. That is for the younger kids. It's basically teaching them the A's to Z.
This one. Okay.
Yep. It's basically teaching them the A's to Z, but it's not just like A for apple, but it's A for apple, but A for amazing. B for like B for
This hasn't been a long time.
right. But it's B for Bravo. It is like B for ball, but B for Bravo. C for cat, but C for courage. So it had the
Mm,
affirmations
hmm.
inside of it to
Yeah.
help, the whole thing. Then from there,
So
we
you're
have
teaching them the alphabet
with
with personal
affirmations.
development lessons all mixed in. That's cool.
Absolutely. Then we go to I just released to Owen and the Bullies. And I went to my daughters and I asked them, I said, all right, so what do you want to talk about next? Because I allow them to, take the stage of the where we want to carry the conversations with the
That's so
youth.
cool that you're incorporating your children into your writing.
Absolutely. So they said, let's talk about bullying. So we did Owen and the Bullies. And with Owen and the Bullies, we just released that in August. And it's been a hit. Like we just did a book festival at Saratoga Book Festival. And every kid, I swear, that's the book they wanted. That was their favorite. That's what they wanted this year.
That's awesome.
And in that book is talking about, Owen getting bullied and he thought that he was different and he went home and he cried to his mom and his mom told him that he was unique and that there's nothing wrong with him. So it's showing kids that, hey, someone might be picking on you, but there's nothing wrong with you and we don't want you to feel that there's anything wrong with you. And for them to know that they have a superpower. So in the book, he started befriending all the other kids that were getting picked on and they became like the super squad. So he
Mm,
had his own crew of friends now. And then at the end of the book, everybody became friends because he even became friends with the bully. And the bully was wondering, hey, why did I end up, why did he end up being friends or whatever? And he was like, well, you may have been going through something, but just know that you're unique. So at the end, everybody became friends and everybody became, a, a whole group and everybody played together at the end of the book.
that's great. That's awesome. How about this one right here? It looks like it's for teens or something, right?
Well, that one is masculine or brokenness. It's not pretty much for teens. It was one that was my first visionary project. And it was for the ladies that got in the book with me. And in that book is basically people talking about how they masked their brokenness and how they went through life of just dealing what they dealt with and how they masked it but came out on the other side to a greater version of themselves after dealing with the situation that they dealt with in life.
Okay. Awesome. Wow. Well, you've got a lot here. So these are the mask books, they're all poetry, right?
Yes.
Okay. Very cool. And then so this also we've got your website. I think maybe it's on my computer. It's cutting off your head, but I know you're gonna
It's
fix
okay.
that soon. But so how can so I know that you have a podcast, right, where you allow people to share their story. How else do you serve people through your business?
I also serve them as far as the magazine where I allow people to share their story as well or their business. Or, I do empowerment and self-love coaching to where I work one-on-one or in group sessions to allow people to just embrace, and we can then take the steps on where they need to go and what's next. I also go to the shelters and I work with the women there to go through different workshops and different transformations of becoming a better version of themselves after going through trauma. I've worked with about 5 different nonprofit shelters. And I go there about once a month, and I go there and I give them, confidence building, trust issues, and healing after trauma workshops to just empower them to just be a better version of themselves and to take the steps to just continue to grow.
That's awesome. You should offer those workshops online too. Online classes.
That'll be the next step.
Okay, you're like, I'm working on it.
Yes, yes, yes. It's in the
Okay.
works.
Well, that's very cool. So your website is Shana. It's long. I'll put the links to it though, but it's shanaunmaskingmotivation.com. And then you can find her author page on Amazon. Just search for her name, Shana Gourdine. That's Shana, and then Gourdine. And I'll link to it. Sorry, with this episode as well. Well, thank you so much, Shana. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Thank you so much for how you serve people through your authorship, through your work in the shelters. What a beautiful heart and soul that you have. I know you do a lot. And
I
oh,
do.
and how old are your children too?
My oldest is 14 and my youngest will be 13 in November.
14 and 13.
Yes, they were like right behind each other.
So two teenagers. And it sounds
Yes,
like you have a great relationship with them as
I
well.
do. I
Uh,
do.
that's awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being an inspiration and helping women out of dark times. Um, have a wonderful rest of the day. And I look forward to your new book coming out. I have heard about it.
Absolutely.
I didn't know that I was going to be interviewing the person that was responsible for that up and coming project. So that's pretty cool.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Algar and I am the host at Expertise TV, and I'm very excited to be introducing you to our guest today, Mayim Vega. Now, Mayim Vega is a former NASA computer scientist turned holistic healer after facing a very personal health crisis, which the modern medical system could not resolve. In 2009, she founded Arukah.com, which offers an holistic healer certification program focusing on 3 pillars: naturopathic herbalism, holistic life coaching, and online business and marketing to empower people to become holistic healers and achieve maximum impact in the world. Mayim combines her scientific background, natural healing methods, and faith in the creator and great physician to guide others on a path to personal and professional well-being. Mayim, it's clear that you are very passionate about the topic of holistic health and particularly helping people who are wanting to transition into this approach. How did you find yourself in this line of work, and why is this work so important to you?
Thank you, Ashley, for taking the time to speak with me. And I'd love to answer that question. The way I found myself in this line of work starts with my story of when I transitioned from becoming a computer scientist at the NASA Ames Research Center to becoming an entrepreneur and building my first online business in digital marketing. And the reason why I did that is so that I could stay at home and be with my newly born son at the time. And now I have 7 children of my own, and I always wanted to homeschool them and just be there for them. And so that's why I became an entrepreneur. But my first few years as an entrepreneur was extremely difficult. And I thought it was healthy, but later on, after all my studies, I realized there were a lot of things that I was doing that was not very healthy. They were not very healthy habits that I had. And what ended up happening was I got really sick and I thought I was on my deathbed. And I was rushed to the emergency room. And the doctor actually thought that I had a brain tumor. But after extensive testing and examination, she told me that there was nothing wrong with me. I just, I was experiencing a lot of pain, but they had nothing for me. There was nothing they could do for me. She said that she could give me some really strong painkillers, but that's really it. She couldn't really get rid of the problem. And so I took the painkillers, but again, painkillers and any pharmaceutical drug never address the root cause of illness and disease. And that's exactly why this line of work is so important to me and why I went on my own personal journey to become a holistic healer, to study nutrition, herbalism, holistic health, and holistic life coaching, is because we all know people, and maybe probably even ourselves, who, just like me, went to the modern medical system because that's the expected thing to do. That's the normal thing to do. And, tried to get health and healing that way, but hit a dead end, hit a brick wall, and we either got medications that didn't work or that only worked for a while, or that caused side effects that were so terrible that we had to get on other medications, plural, and maybe even the medication or medications caused side effects that caused other health issues. And sometimes the health issues are worse than the first problem that you originally had. And we're on this ridiculous roller coaster of drug after treatment after procedure, because the modern medical system never addresses the root cause. And medical professionals who have woken up know this. And that's why I have medical professionals in my program, including, doctors, nurses, nurse practitioners, medical technicians, etc., who are learning from me, who are, taking the certification program because they realize that our system is broken and we need to fix it. It is our destiny as humanity to overcome all this nonsense, really. We can do better and we will do better. I know it. And that's why, in my certification program, sometimes I joke around. No, it's not really a joke, but I say, I'm empowering not just holistic healers, but holistic warriors. We're in a battle. We're in a battle over our own health and healing to safeguard and protect that, and that of our families and friends and community, of course, as well. And we're also in a battle against very powerful people who, because of profits, like to suppress holistic health and healing truths to keep us just sick enough so that we need something, pharmaceuticals, but not well enough to ever get off them. That is truly the goal of big pharma, of the pharmaceutical industry. It's not true. They don't want to heal us. They don't want to cure us. They want to keep us just sick enough so that we keep giving them our money. And you know what? Me personally, I have better things to spend with my money, like on good food, clean herbs, things that don't cause these ridiculous side effects that we experience with pharmaceutical drugs.
Thank you, Mayim. So that brings me to my next question. What are some of the key benefits of transitioning from the conventional healing approach to a holistic approach in health and healing?
Okay, so that's another really great and important question. The key benefits of transitioning from conventional healing to a holistic approach are, right now, I can think of three main reasons. Number one, the holistic approach is safer. Number two, the holistic approach is more effective. And number three, the holistic approach is the true approach that gets to the root cause. Okay. Now, I'd like to illustrate the first point, the safety of holistic medicine. If someone who was taking some, let's say blood pressure medication or something like that, visited me at my house, let's say I invited them over for dinner, and let's say they had to take some of their medicine and they dropped one of their pills, right, in my dining room or in my living room floor. Now I have very small children. I have a 4-year-old. And what if my 4-year-old found that pill on the floor and thought it was candy or something like that and put it in her mouth and ate it? What would happen? I would immediately have to call the poison control center to get that pill out of her system, because those pills can have deadly side effects. But what if someone dropped a vitamin C pill or a tincture, you know, um, you know, and one of my children found it? For the most part, if they found it and took it, they might have a little diarrhea. It might be really spicy on their tongue, and so they would stop taking it. But no, I wouldn't have to control the poison control center, because vitamins and herbs and minerals are extremely, like 1,000 times safer than pharmaceutical drugs. There's a few types of, supplements that you might have to call the poison control center, but for the most part, no, you won't have to do that, because our body knows how to work with those substances. It is not a drug. It is a healing tool. Okay. So completely safe. Also, exercise, diet, those are all safe, right? Sleep, those are all part of holistic health and healing. Completely safe, zero side effects. Now, let's talk about the effectiveness. The holistic approach is more effective. And the reason why we know this is because in my practice, and this is the experience of many holistic healers, when it comes to the conventional ways with the pharmaceutical drugs, as I said before, they don't deal with the root cause. They just mask symptoms. So, you might take a cough suppressant, let's say, for example, but if you are not dealing with the root cause, why are you coughing in the first place? Why do you have allergies? Why do you have the flu, etc.? Why is your immune system not strong enough to overcome this in just a few hours or just a day or two overnight? Why? Because you have not built up your immune system. You haven't boosted it or lived the kind of life that you need to in order to avoid those common illnesses altogether. I have one of my students is a medical doctor, and she said that she used to take anti-allergy drugs every single week because of her allergies. The allergy drugs don't boost your immune system; they just suppress it. They just oppress your allergy symptoms. But when you have allergy symptoms, it's your body talking to you and telling you, hey, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this thing that you're eating or this environment that you've just stepped into because of my state of being. I'm not strong enough. That's what your immune system is saying to you. But I taught her a really powerful vitamin protocol that actually boosts your immune system so that your immune system is strong enough to overcome allergies. And so that's the difference. It is effective because it is true. It is true holistic health and healing because it strengthens your immune system. It doesn't silence it, like I said before. And the third issue is the root cause. Holistic health and healing deals with the root cause, and the conventional approach of drugs and surgery, etc., does not. That doesn't mean that you sometimes don't need surgery, for example, or in an emergency situation need a drug, but you're not dealing with the root cause. And if you deal with the root cause, you can make your problems either go away or become extremely minimal, safely, effectively, and naturally without poisoning your body and causing the roller coaster of side effects.
Mayim, you have developed an incredible program that you've already mentioned called the Arukah Holistic Healer Certification Program, which you have specifically created for those looking to either transition into the holistic approach or for those who are wanting to grow in their knowledge and practice. Can you talk us through what differentiates this program from other similar programs that are currently out there?
Thank you, Ashley. Yes, the certification program at Arukah.com is really, truly incredible. And there's a few things that set it apart, actually, many things, but I'd like to focus on a few. And one of them is that when I designed the program, I designed it for someone who was in my situation many years ago, someone who was a busy mom who had a lot of work to do and a lot of things on her plate, but still wanted to empower herself with the knowledge of holistic health and healing for herself, for her family, so she could take care of her family, um, and maybe even build a career where, very specifically, she could stay at home and, just like me, be a stay-at-home mom. And even a homeschool mom. I've been a homeschool mom. My oldest is 20 now, and I homeschooled him the whole way. And he's already graduated college, and he's got a computer science degree, and he's an entrepreneur himself. I instilled that dream in him. So being able to, I was able to surpass my income at NASA, and still homeschool my children. It's pretty awesome achievement. And so I wanted to empower people in my program to do exactly the same as I've done, to become a holistic healer, to have a successful online business so that they can have time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. Meaning that there's no glass ceiling. No one who you need to get a raise from. You just have to help people. That's how I get paid, is when I help people, right? And so that's what's one of the advantages. Another advantage is it's very hands-on and apprenticeship based. And you could go to a college to study to become a naturopathic doctor, or another holistic professional like a chiropractor. But it's going to take a lot more money, and a lot more time as well. This program can be completed in 1 year, but because all of my students pretty much are busy professionals already, or busy moms, it's self-paced. So if you have a lot of things on your plate, it's okay. It's still going to be there for you. There's not like a time limit. You're not going to, your grade's not going to be lowered because you submit an assignment late or anything like that. It's self-paced. And so I've designed it for the busy mom, or the working woman. And another thing that sets it apart is we have three core pillars in our program. One is that our students study naturopathic herbalism. And that takes up the bulk of our program. And naturopathic herbalism includes studying the foundations of holistic health and healing, identifying toxins and detoxification, also nutrition and orthomolecular nutrition, or megadose vitamin therapy, as well as herbalism, which includes also homeopathy and aromatherapy with essential oils. And also they study Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine. But it's mostly focused on Western medicine, Western herbalism, excuse me. And then the next core pillar, the second one, is holistic life coaching. And the reason why holistic life coaching is part of the program is to incorporate the mind spirit aspect of it, right? If herbs and supplements are the alternative to pharmaceutical drugs, well, holistic life coaching is like the holistic alternative to psychiatry. It deals with the mind and the spirit, and spirit has to be part of it because we are spiritual beings. We're not just physical beings. We're also spiritual beings. Now, a lot of holistic health and healing schools are based on different religions, New Age, or other pagan religions. And this program, because I'm Jewish, is based on the Creator. It's based on the Bible and biblical principles, Judeo-Christian principles. And so, therefore, I have a lot of people who are of that faith persuasion. Jews, Christians, or people who maybe they don't really identify as Jewish or Christian, but they're open to it, or they grew up in that faith, and they don't necessarily want all the new age spirituality. They want the kind of spirituality that they are comfortable with and used to. That's another thing that sets us apart. And life coaching is all about mindset and how to have healthy relationships with yourself, with others. Of course, also, with food and your body and lifestyle. Holistic life coaching encompasses all of that. And it's a very important part of holistic health and healing, especially because stress is often the root cause of many illnesses, common illnesses, and also chronic diseases. So, that mind and spirit aspect is very important. And the third aspect is online business marketing. And again, the reason why that's important is because, as I told you, I really want my students to thrive and to be able to, have that time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom, which an online business provides. But also because, there's not a lot of jobs for herbalists, or life coaches even. And so we really have to be entrepreneurial. And it's very, very rewarding. And because of my background, with my digital marketing business, my first business, I can really help people in that department.
Thanks so much, Mayim. So I love the power of testimony and hearing people's personal experiences or journeys. Can you share some of the success stories that might be coming to mind or testimonials from past students?
Yes, we certainly have a lot of success stories and testimonials, and we'll show some of those testimonials at the end of our talk today in this video. But I could talk about a few of them that are maybe recent. One of them is one of my students. She told me that she wanted to become a nutritionist, but I guess her life's journey didn't really allow for that. So when she heard about my program, my certification program, when it first launched, she joined, and she really wanted to help her husband, who had been suffering from colitis under the care of doctors for about 20 years, ever since he was in the military. And he was going from medication to medication, and suffering with diarrhea and insomnia and restless legs and indigestion, and all these terrible things that colitis can cause. And so I actually created a custom module for her to help her husband with that. And in 2 months, she helped her husband get off the medication and heal from colitis using food and herbs and natural holistic healing methods. So that was a great accomplishment for her. And I get people, contacting me saying that I helped them grow their hair back, or actually someone said, "Oh, you helped save save a little girl's life." Just beautiful, wonderful things like that. You helped me heal my daughter. You helped me grow, regrow my teeth so I don't have pain from cavities anymore. Like just all these wonderful testimonies. And that's the reason why I love doing what I do. And and you will too, if you join the program. It's so rewarding and fulfilling to understand and to know that you are helping people, truly helping people in ways that they can't get in the modern medical system. It's so rewarding.
Incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that, Mayim. I can only imagine the sense of reward when people start applying these principles to their lives and actually see a change and transformation. And for somebody as passionate as you are around this topic, to witness that and to be a part of that, I imagine that the reward is priceless. Another common question that arises is, once someone completes the program, what are some of the practical steps one would take in order to start a successful career in holistic health?
Okay, that's a great question. And that's actually what the third pillar of our program is all about is, what do you do? Practical steps and what you would do to start a successful career in holistic health. And in that program, we teach our students how to create a high ticket transformational health coaching program that really helps people deal with a serious a problem, a serious health issue. And that doesn't mean that it's a deadly, problem, but it can be something that really affects their life, right? Even skin disorders can really affect your life, right? Even though it's not necessarily deadly. Weight loss could be something that is dealing with a serious issue. There's so many different types of health coaching programs that one can make, anxiety, depression, hormonal issues, etc. So they build, it's part of the program. They will do this while they're still in the program, and we'll support them the whole way, is to build that first high ticket health coaching program, and then set up their online assets, such as their website, their social media, a video sales letter, press releases, podcasts, all those things that online entrepreneurs need in order to connect with people, get their message of health and healing out there, and build and grow and scale their business.
Thank you so much, Mayim. It's been so great talking with you today. But before we close, for those that would like to get started on the journey to becoming an holistic healer and wanting to learn a little bit more about the certification program, how do they go about contacting you?
Yes, it's been wonderful talking to you today as well. And for all those who would like to get started on their journey to become a holistic healer and learn more about the certification program, all they need to do is visit the website, www.arukah.com, ARUKAH.com, and dig into that and schedule a discovery call. And I would love to be your mentor, your health coach, your teacher in guiding you to become a holistic healer, to become the healer of your home and your family and your community, and to help you build a profitable online health coaching business.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Mayim. So there we have it, folks. If you are ready to move forward in your own journey of becoming a holistic healer, then you can visit the website at www.arukah.com, where you can schedule your first discovery call. Thanks so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure.